Whoa, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Let It Grow Investing. I am Jeff, and thank you very much for stopping by. Oh, yeah, man, we've got a wild market out there. We've had a nice run up this week, right? It's nice to see that market actually trend higher from like Monday through Thursday. Friday brought a little bit of selling, but you got to take a little bit of bad with the good, I guess. So, Friday. Also, Friday was that big, highly anticipated Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight. I did stay up. I did catch it. I was kind of wondering why, as I was watching it, did I stay up this late? Couple good fights in that mix of the four fights that were there. Tyson looked slow. I'll be honest, he looked slow. I was really pulling for him, but and then I went on to read that he had like 8 blood transfusions in June. That's why the fight got postponed in July, and he was like on his deathbed then. I really don't know what happened, but I got to imagine all of that being close to 60. I mean, it's just not the same as what it was when he was 20, right? It just isn't. But nevertheless, he got paid. Jake got paid. Hopefully, all the other fighters got paid as well. I know Jake Paul was kind of pushing for, a lot of those other fighters to be paid equally for what they were doing as well. So Netflix, right? Netflix, huge problems on Netflix. Man, and I thought it was just me. I thought my internet was garbage. I mean, I've said it on here before. I don't know what's going on, if it's lagging or whatever. Apparently, with Riverside, the way that I'm creating, I shouldn't be using a Chromebook, but that seems to be the easiest way for me to do the podcast on here. So I might have to switch to a new laptop. My desktop is kind of slow. So the Chromebook normally works really well, but maybe not so well for podcasting. So I might have to change up what I'm doing here. But yeah, Netflix, man, huge problems. The lagging, the streaming was painful, absolutely painful. And I had a lot of thoughts about this fight or how they're streaming it beforehand, right? I thought this is going to be huge changes for their customers, for the people that are adopting Netflix as a whole, cracking down on passwords. I thought this was really going to be a big change for them and potentially something that could be very strong. One of those things was, it used to be that all these different restaurants or bars or whatever had a pay-per-view event. So people would come out to that individual location. Everyone would go to the same place. We'd watch it as a group. We'd have drinks, eat some food, have some appetizers, and the business would also benefit from simply paying for the package, whatever they had to pay to get the fight on their screens. Now it seemed like everyone, was at their own home, kind of sharing from wherever they were watching, like, hey, anyone else having issues? It seemed like everyone was having issues. So one, I think that if it goes forward and they can actually get the streaming to work correctly, which I think they can, I think it's a growing pain. This is something new for them. Obviously a terrible time to have it happen, but I can't even imagine the amount of millions of people that were trying to watch the same thing at the same time. And I don't know if it was a bandwidth thing. I really don't know how all of that information gets transferred. I'm not even going to try to make an attempt at explaining it. I still don't understand how Wi-Fi works, how I can be on a phone and access the internet, but whatever. So yeah, I think that the fact that people were all on the same thing took away from a lot of the sales from, your typical bars or restaurants that would have the big event on. And now it was all kind of, individualized. So I think that the bars, the restaurants could potentially have a commercial Netflix account if they should get into more streaming and have it be more, properly done, not have, just solid lagging for, the whole duration of the fight. For me, it was 4+ hours, and it was a case where I had to go back, enter back into Netflix, start it back up, and it came back on. But it was getting to the point where it was just, it was cumbersome. It was a real problem to try to enjoy the fact that you are paying for the subscription. You want it to work, right? Granted, normally it's fine. Normally there's no issues, but I think it was just an overload on their system. So I do think that it probably hurt some of these local bars and restaurants that typically would have had an event like this on their screens. I also think that it is an option for those same businesses to go ahead and have some sort of a Netflix streaming live stream for events going forward, rather than simply having NFL Ticket or whatever the different package is. If you've got Amazon Prime, they got different games on there versus Netflix. So it's almost like you have to have all these different packages in order to have a business that's going to show a lot of live events and get a lot of people in the door for those sales. So I do think that could be a change going forward. I think that could be a way for Netflix to grow. Obviously, they have a lot of fixing to do when it comes to the way that the streaming was done. I think that the engineers that are there can figure this out. How do they boost up their bandwidth or whatever? I don't know the right terms, but how do we fix it to not make this a problem going forward? And, really have people wanting to sign back up for Netflix. I mean, if this was your one and only time that you tried to get on Netflix, or you just signed up for this event, man, had to be very, very let down by the quality of the streaming that you were looking at. It was just painful. So yeah, that was definitely huge. And I do think that going forward, they could do quite a lot better with that. I still think that Netflix has a solid business model. And, if you would have gone back in time, back into the 90s and said, hey, or even like 2000 and said, yeah, in 24 years, Mike Tyson's going to be on Netflix on this DVD rental platform fighting a YouTuber out of Disney, no one would have believed it anyhow. So there's so many things that have changed in the past 24 years. I think they can make it better and kind of still evolve the business that they have, and really adopt more of those customers that I think is potentially another market for them to tap into that really has been, nothing right now. It's not like anyone's putting on, one of their top shows at the bar. It's just not the market, not the place for it. And now if they get into live events, I think that opens up a whole new market for them to really look at and lean into. And, if it's a commercial package, I'm going to guess it's going to be far more than $14 for, pick a restaurant to have these events on their screens. So that could be a huge selling thing for them as well. Disney, did want to pull up Disney, right? That's, let's see if we can go ahead and share my screen here. Let's see what the E-Trade has for us and go back over here. We've got, Disney. We were up this week, and that feels like it's been a long time coming, right? Up 5.5% on Friday alone. If we look at the chart, where were we? We were probably sitting in the 90s. Let's look at the 5-day. We can check that one out. No, we were right around 100. Call it 100 on Monday, Tuesday kind of time frame. We dipped barely into the high 90s on Tuesday. And then they had that earnings come out on Thursday, and we actually had a bright spot for Disney. I know it feels like forever. The park business looks strong. Some of their movies are actually, making money again, which is kind of cool to see. I did have one of those articles pulled up, and we can actually get back to that. That's a lot of green on the screen from different analysts saying to go ahead and buy this one. Netflix broadcast of Paul Tyson fight has critics wondering if streaming sports are on the ropes. And it could certainly be a case where all of them got traded down come Monday. I do think that they're going to get punished a little bit for the fact that if Netflix can't do it, why do we want to be here? But I do think that it is a matter of time before they figure this thing out. I know there's an article about what exactly happened. But yeah, the park business and the movie business was actually looking pretty strong. I think streaming was looking a little bit better as well. So they kind of delivered on this earnings report. And let's take a look. Strong Q4 results. We'll look at this one. We've got Magical Touch returned in Q4 thanks to another swing higher in profitability for direct-to-consumer streaming and a banner quarter for the theatrical film business, in which CEO Bob Iger called one of the best quarters in the history of our film studio. Although it's still contending with macro-related headwinds, the theme park business also performed better than anticipated, contributing to Disney's earnings beat and bullish outlook for fiscal year 25 calls for high single-digit EPS growth. Great. That looks like on all fronts, we were really getting good numbers from Disney and a decent guide higher. And this has been this has been painful. It's been dead money. I mean, shoot, if I look at the chart, we're probably under where this thing was a couple years ago. If I look at the 3-year, yeah, we were up near 160, and we tanked. Right, a lot of Disney Plus problems, a lot of movie problems. It wasn't looking like those were making so much money. Did I say Disney Plus? I think the parks were decent, but then they started trending down as they were raising prices. A lot of different things there. So nice to see them finally kind of get a little bit of a revival here. It looks like the business isn't completely dead. They're actually showing some green here in volume, more money coming in than going out. That's awesome. That has been hard to see. And I mean, it's kind of like Bitcoin, right? I mean, it's not Bitcoin, but the fact that Bitcoin's finally getting the volume coming back in, we can probably take a look at which one. What's a good spot ETF? Is that Bit? Oh, no, I think that one's a futures trading ETF. But nonetheless, let's take a look how some of these different 3 years too long on this. We need like a 1 month, maybe a 3 month. That might do it. But anyhow, yeah, Bitcoin, I haven't even looked today. I think we were at like 91, 92,000. It was definitely trending higher. Yeah, this chart, we're definitely moving up here from off of some of the November lows here right before the election. Then after the election, it's just been trending straight up. Yeah, we're at 90,738 according to crypto.com. So nice to see that movement higher. We still got people calling for Bitcoin to be potentially 100,000, 6 figures by the end of the year. You still got Kathy Wood saying it's going to be $1 million by 2030. So, potentially still a 10x play in Bitcoin if you listen to Kathy Wood, who's been wrong more times than not lately. So it's definitely hard to listen to her. But, she's got some of these high price targets. Same thing with Tesla. She still thinks Tesla can get to, I think, $2,600. That might have been pre-split, but I think it was 2,600 by 2030, which is going to be massive. Tesla, they've moved up really nicely, and now we're kind of trending back down. If it could go below 300 for this Friday and then do whatever it wants after that, that would be awesome. It did move up Friday, but man, this one, I just don't understand the amount of action that's been here. I understand that Elon is, affiliated with Trump. I get that a lot of different things are going on there, but it doesn't seem like anything has really truthfully changed for the business. I mean, I know there's going to be some different regulation. There's going to be some more in the way of demand. They might have the green light to go ahead, but it's not like they're forcing everyone to an EV right now. So that is still a concern. Is the adoption going to speed back up now that they're saying, hey, you got it as an option? You don't have to have it right now, but it is an option out there. I'm not too sure what's going to happen with that front going on. Nvidia earnings, those are going to be huge this week. And let's pull up Nvidia. Do we have enough to break out? That's going to be the big question. Man, I don't know. I hope that commentary is good. Everyone expects their commentary to be good. They expect everything to say, hey, yeah, we're pushing higher for next year, but is it going to be enough to move this thing to new highs? And I don't know. It's a difficult call. I would probably say I would wait until after earnings to buy this thing. I don't truthfully know. And if we don't have great earnings and great guidance, I think that we're going to trend down, which might be a good time to buy this thing. It wasn't long ago, and people are going to forget about it, but it was not long ago that this thing was in the $90 range, right? We got back down here in probably August at 108. We were in June, we were at 95, and that's when I said to buy it. But I mean, or that's when I said I was buying it. I can't tell you guys what to do. Like I said, Bitcoin at 17, 18,000 was probably the last time I said, hey, I'd be buying Bitcoin right now. And I did, and it went up to 90. So a couple decent calls. I know I've made some that are, blunders, but that happens. But I think a lot of these, when you have a good vision as to what the business is, which Bitcoin isn't necessarily a business, but Nvidia in the 90s, I knew it was too cheap. Tesla in the high 100s, I also knew it was too cheap. I still think that there's a lot of different businesses out there that get to the point where a lot of people are trying to chase them when they get higher, trying to buy Bitcoin at 90, trying to buy Nvidia at 150. And then, you just get kind of slaughtered in the market because the whole thing is going to collapse on you because you're buying at a peak and you have that FOMO. So don't have the FOMO, right? Buy it when it's convenient for you, dollar cost average into a position. Don't simply just chase the thing because you're going to get burned. I've done it before. I can tell you from my own experience, buying DraftKings at 40, and then it cratered all the way down to the teens or something, and now it's finally back up there. But it was a long road of holding and trying to tell myself that this thing is going to be okay. Yeah, I mean, this thing, where did it go? It's been a long time since I've held this one. I probably bought it back in 22, probably right before this chart here, and it tanked down to what in 23, 1140. So absolutely brutal. So now that it's back up here, I have that decision to make. Do I want to hold on to this thing? Yes, it does have some price targets in the mid 50s. I do think that there is still some upside. I'm not too sure what a Trump presidency is going to do to DraftKings. There is about 25% of upside in the name, but do I want to get out of this thing? And I could certainly see trimming my position. I truthfully thought when this thing was at 40 when I bought it, I thought it was going to go to 60 or 70, and it certainly didn't. So now do I want to cut my position? Do I still think that it can get back up to 60? I think I might trim this one. I might write some more covered calls for the upper 40s to where I can make a decent bit of money, get the covered call, write the premium or collect the premium. And if it doesn't sell, I'm still holding. A lot of different ways to play it. But I don't want to see everyone scramble into a name that has had this massive run. Palantir for one. I've been in this one for quite some time. Again, Palantir. And man, this thing just keeps going, just parabolic. It is off the charts. But if you look at this average price target, down 48.72%. Some people, there's a lot of big investors. Ken Griffin is selling Palantir and buying Amazon, Google. He was buying one of them. So he's dumping 90% of his Palantir and getting into some of these other names. I cannot fault these people for selling after the fact of what is going on in these charts. I mean, look at this chart. We were under 20 in January, and we're at 65 now. So it's more than tripled in the case of 11 months. And truthfully, since July, it's doubled since then. It's over doubled since July. So do you want to go ahead and buy this thing right now? Well, I could tell you that I think long term it is going to be an absolute winner, but I don't know that I want to buy after this chart, right? I do think that this thing's going to come back down. I don't think it's going to stay at 65 forever. I do think it's going to settle back down. But at the same point, if you're going to be in it for the next 5 years like I plan to be, buy a little now, buy a little later, buy some every month or every quarter, or however you want to, allocate your dollars into a position that makes the most amount of sense for you. So I'm going to probably hold on to these. I think I did write a couple buy orders in the mid 50s. And if it gets down there, I'll probably lower my price target again, or not my price target, lower my cost or my purchasing price on that next buy down to the mid 40s. And if it gets there, I'll buy there as well. So I'm not necessarily looking to buy at 65, but if the price comes down to me, I would potentially be, interested in buying more Palantir for the long run. A couple things, right? There's all this talk about GLP-1s, and I kind of wanted to get this out there as well. A lot of different things with stocks are referred to, as sin stocks. Typically, you think casinos, you think tobacco, alcohol, those are going to be your sin stocks. I don't want to buy those because of XYZ. They stand for bad things. I've kind of come to the realization that there's a lot of corporations, I'll say probably most corporations, are all after money. They're all going to do whatever they can to get your money and to make their profits better. And so I don't know if any of them are truthfully pure in the way of what they're selling to you, how they're doing it, right? You could look at any one of them. You look at Reddit, they're selling your news. You look at, Facebook, they're selling your marketing to all these other people, your information. You look at some of these healthcare companies and they try to, be under the guise of, hey, we're helping you. I don't necessarily know that that's always true. I mean, I'm very conflicted by what RFK is doing with the FDA, the fact that the FDA is food and drug, they're, kind of biased or conflicted as to what they're doing, right? They're approving something for drug use and then it's getting passed into food use, which I don't think is necessarily the best way to do it. I think we do have a huge food problem in this country, which has led to an overabundance of drug problems, both legal, abuse, and just the fact that we're prescribing these things to younger and younger. We're giving them out like, you have to have this. There's no other way. And I think that's really getting to be a problem, right? So I think even some of the food companies, they know that what they're putting in the food is not great for us, right? They know that high fructose corn syrup or all these additives or the dyes or anything else is potentially a huge problem to us. So I've kind of elaborated on what I consider to be a sin stock. And I think there's a lot of them out there that simply will do whatever they can to get the cheapest product to you that is going to be the most addictive to have you coming back. I'm still in McDonald's. I know the E. coli thing scared a lot of people away. They're spending a lot of money to get people back in the restaurants. I did actually get out of Pepsi, which is, I probably should turn off the sharing of my screen when I'm just chatting, but I always forget. So I did sell out of Pepsi. This was something that I bought during the pandemic as people weren't going out to restaurants. The stock really tanked, right? They weren't selling as much. People were more concerned about having any kind of sustenance in the house rather than going out and buying Pepsi or going out and to a ball game or to a restaurant and having a Pepsi. So I bought it on the cheap back then, and it has done fairly well for me. It cratered here on Friday. I think there are some RFK concerns. I think I sold it 163 to 165, something like that. I trimmed or sold out of it completely. So I do think that RFK is going to have some sort of crackdown on the food, right? I definitely think that is going to be a case where things that are in these ingredients that are in these different foods that we have, they're going to be really looked at under a microscope. I think that is going to be the case. Now you look at it over into, Novo Nordisk, or if you're looking at Eli Lilly, you're looking at all these weight loss or the diabetes, the GLP-1s. I have a lot of problems with them myself, from the standpoint that, yes, people are losing weight, but I feel that they're being overprescribed. I think if people have, a couple extra pounds, they don't need this, that they have to be on for years at a time or be tied to some of these for the rest of the time. I don't know that that is the right way to do it. Plus, it also comes into a problem of, yes, you're on this suppressant, so you're not eating, but you're also not getting the nutrients or the protein that you need in order to, have your body really maintain health, right? You're not getting the nutrients that you need in order to, be your best self. So yes, you're losing weight, but at what cost? So even if there's not side effects, there's still the fact that you're just not consuming maybe what you need, and it's not a good balance. It's going too far from one direction to the other. I still have problems with it. So yes, there's a use for it. I think it's just being overused at this point in time. Do I think that RFK is going to simply just go out of his way to crack down on GLP-1s? No, I really truthfully feel that it's going to be a case where they are going to be used, they're going to be needed, but I think that they are being overprescribed. I think RFK's focus is going to be more on the things that he's pointed out before. The artificial food, the different chemicals that have been added, the 10,000 of added chemicals that the FDA has approved since the 50s, where Europe only has about 400 additives in their food that are allowed, right? So I think that is going to be more the crackdown. Why do we have all this in our food? Why is there fluoride in our water? Why are all these red dyes being just dumped into everything possible? Why is there so much sugar in even things like pasta sauce or ketchup? I think that's going to be more of the concern as to why we're just making everything more and more addictive. So that brings me to a point. There was a point to this. I do think that Eli Lilly is being oversold right now. I do believe that. And the fact that it went down bigger on Friday, yes, they had a little bit less demand in their, I always forget which ones. Is it Wegovy and Mounjaro? I think those are there too. I do think that was a bit of this problem, but now you've also got RFK concerns. I think it was in the news as well. So that was going to be like big concern here, right? We had, I know it was here. Yep, RFK is not a fan of weight loss drugs or vaccines. He might not be a fan. I'm not necessarily a fan either, but I don't know how much he's going to be able to overturn that quickly. I think he's going to be looking for, the biggest problems and trying to get those fixed in his tenure, in health and human services, right? So I think that is going to be more the concern. And I still think there are going to be needs for GLP-1s in those extreme cases of weight loss. So I think that is going to be an issue. So I think the fact that Eli Lilly is sold off so hefty, we're down to 746. We've got around 40% of upside. I do believe that won't last forever. I think that, I'm getting to the point where I think that this is going to be something that can be purchased and held for a while, and they still have a very large pipeline of drugs. They're one of the best on several different medications, and I do believe that they are going to continue to make money. So you can call them a sin stock. If you want to, I could certainly classify it as that. I don't necessarily think that that's what they're after. I think they're trying to solve a problem that they see that is something that can certainly sell, and their GLP-1s are doing just that. But I think that RFK might be after other things that might be a little bit more important that he can actually shut down, rather than simply going after a drug that might be overprescribed in a lot of different things. So that is going to be my first stock for week 48 is going to be Eli Lilly. The ticker is LLY. We have a good amount of upside. We have come cratering back down from probably 900. Like I said, 40.42% of upside. Average price target is 1,048, and we're sitting at 746. I don't have a problem buying this thing right now. It could trend down right now for the rest of the week. It might trend down after that, but I still believe that we're going to have a bright future with Eli Lilly. They're one of the best in the business. We saw similar results from AbbVie. I forget, it was schizophrenia. It was a schizophrenia drug. That's what it was for AbbVie that did not get approval. It did not show any major improvement. So this thing tanked, right? We were sitting at like 205, and now we're down to 164 just this week. So I actually did purchase a little bit more AbbVie as well with some of those proceeds from Pepsi. And I actually got out of Adobe. I'll show you that in a second. But AbbVie, here we go. This was the 5-day. Is this? I need more than that. That's there we go. There's the drop. So we were up sitting above 200, and we tanked, right? Right. So that is that's what's going on there. Adobe, man, I'm still bullish long term. I still think it's going to be a great stock. I just happen to have a stop loss. This thing cratered, right? We were up above 530. I wrote my stop loss for 525. It triggered on this big drop off on Friday. I got out of it, and yeah, what can I say? I sold it, probably 20 some points higher than where we're sitting right now. And if it drops down into the 490, 485 range, I'll probably buy back in. That's probably my thoughts on Adobe. I still believe it is a winner long term with a lot of the things that they're doing. Kind of a sidebar there, right? Still about 24% of upside in that area. So number 2 is going to be Micron. I've looked at this one time and time again. I have, I see that Eli Lilly is similar to some of these other stocks I was saying, are in that trough that I don't think that they're going to stay in forever. So I do believe they are better entries than what we have seen for quite some time on something like Eli Lilly. So I don't necessarily want to let it slip. Micron, right? We definitely had this run earlier in the year up to like 153. They said that some of the demand was tanking. And things that weren't AI. And now we're kind of at the bottom of that demand. And I think we're going to start seeing a trend higher. That is what they pointed to on their guidance. So there are a lot of people saying that we've got a nice path to, greener grass, bluer skies, whatever you want to say. We're at, 55% upside here. Average price target being 149.81. I think that demand has bottomed out. I think we're going to climb out of this thing. This did also go back down from probably the 110, 115 level just about a week ago. Now we're back at 96. I was buying since it went under 100. Yeah, this is the 1 month. So yeah, we were up near 113. We, kind of cratered down here at the beginning of November, then ran up after the election. Now we're below that. I am using that as a buying opportunity. I don't know that we've had any insider activity. For some reason, I thought this chart was insider activity. That's just volume. Sale on the 21st of October from an officer of the company, 1.1 million. And a lot of options awarded, but nothing else that looks like a big insider sell. So that is number 2. Micron, ticker MU. And I'm still bullish there. I think Eli and Micron could be really good targets to buy up the bottom and really get a nice return on your money. Another one that is going to be in the chip space is going to be Broadcom. A lot of people talking about the fact that Nvidia coming up this week is going to potentially show how much demand is out there. We could potentially be buying this one into some strong volume off of the backs of Nvidia earnings. It's done really well for me over a long term that I've held this one. I think it's a 300% gainer at this point, but there is still a good amount of upside. There's about 21% of upside right here. The chart has looked pretty solid. We got a lot of buy ratings, 205, 220. These don't even have a price target from B of A, Mizuho, Mizuho does. DBS and Truist Financial. So a lot of different things there. I'm still bullish on this one long term. I think that this can be purchased in the 160s pretty comfortably. We've got the one that I talked about earlier. Do we want to go ahead and go out on a limb and guess that Netflix is going to trend down quickly this week? I do believe Monday is going to be a sell-off. I really do believe that. So with that being said, what's their future look like? Can they get the streaming right? Can they change things up? I'm going to point to yes. I don't know that they are going to just sit back and let their streaming business go away. I think they spend more money to try to fix it and get their systems right, spend it on CapEx rather than losing out the battle of live streaming. They have to get it right. I don't think that they're going to quit until it is right. And this could be a blessing to buy this thing sub 823. I think this might fall into the, 7 to 10% lower range this week. I do think that it has that kind of power to just drop that quick off of the backs of what everyone saw for live streaming. I'm seeing a lot of people calling for shorts. I'm seeing a lot of people calling for it to just sell off. So I think that some of those people are actually going to do that. They're going to take profits at 823. If you look over the last year, this was under 500 last November. So maybe the people that bought down here are saying, hey, I've made my money. I'm up 320 points. 320 points, and hey, it's good time to sell it, right? So maybe we can get in on that sales point where people are getting out of it. We start buying, and then we look forward in a couple years as they overtake everything for live TV, for streaming. Yes, they're going to have competition. Amazon, Disney, we're going to have Hulu or Roku. All of them are going to be vying for that spot, but I really think Netflix is going to try to push their streaming in their live events above a lot of these other ones. So it might be a little bit risky right now, but that is going to be number 4 is Netflix. Do we go for it? I'm saying that I wouldn't be against the idea. So maybe that could be a good play for this week. Week 48 last year. And I was just talking about some other big investor buying this one, and I forget who it was. But if you go back in time, week 48 last year, we were buying a small little company called Amazon. And do we get back in? I'm good with it, right? It is our largest position in the Let It Grow Investing Challenge. And I think that this is going to continue to grow. We've got a lot of different things firing really well for them, whether it be cloud or AWS. If we are looking at retail, if we're looking at any of the different businesses that they're getting in, I think they pull another lever, they switch another gear, and they just kind of keep printing money. So we're at 202. We've got around 18% of upside for an average price target of 239. Very limited on the downside. High price on the street is sitting at 285. What else can I say about Amazon, guys? I mean, we've covered Amazon so many times. I'm good with it. I think it's one of those stocks that you really want to be in long term. Yeah, PE's at 45. We got all green except for Argus. Even Market Edge says go ahead and get in right here. Trefis is saying we got around 8% for an average price of 229. North America web services is about 41% of the business. Amazon International 13. We could certainly bump that up. They can compete with all of those different carriers, whether it's Alibaba or AliExpress or Temu. I'm not sure how you say that one. I think the Super Bowl tried to tell me a different way. So there's a lot of different things here that are changing for it. I don't know why it just kind of cut me out of there. Probably because I tried to get on my phone. But yeah, so that's the 5 that I got for us this week. It's Eli Lilly, Micron, Broadcom, Netflix, and Amazon. We did buy Amazon last year, and I was looking at 4 other names last year as well, and all of those, the yearly charts on those look really strong. I'm going back to my notes from week 48 and from 2023, and it was Tesla, Palo Alto Networks, Walmart, and Global Payment Networks, which I think GPN was the only one that trended down, which is kind of crazy on some of the back of a lot of that credit card spending that we've had. But the other ones really rocketed higher. So I'm happy to see those. I'm glad that we purchased Amazon. I did want to pull up the investing challenge portfolio really quick while I got you here. Let's take a look and see just how these results have been doing. Yeah, we covered Netflix, we covered Disney, Nvidia. We talked a bit about some of the different drug makers, some GLPs. We talked about Bitcoin. I think I covered everything I had on my mind right now. But if you guys got something else that you want to, kind of take a look at, be sure to let me know. I would love to, cover different questions that you guys might have, or cover stocks that you are interested in. So yeah, we're at, I don't know if we can see this. I'll try to show you. We're at $34,000 sitting in this account for the investing challenge. We've got 22% of gains. I'm trying to read it backwards off of my screen, but I'm having a hard time doing that. Amazon. Let's take a look here. How much Amazon do we have? We have $2,600 worth of Amazon. We're up 67% on it. That is a gain of about $1,064 over the course of, I'm sure we bought this one year 1 for us, which was 2022. So, nice gains there are overall for Amazon. Broadcom's already on here, though. That one is up 195% for us. That is a huge gainer for us on AVGO. Just kind of a quiet assassin, if you will. Man, they are just killing it. People get a lot more excited about Nvidia, but Broadcom is no slouch in that regard. Iron Mountain up 110%. That is one that I did not think was going to be a triple-digit gainer for us, was Iron Mountain. But man, I guess they're really making that transition from document storage and shredding and disposal into more storage, more warehousing space for a lot of different businesses, whether it be networks or AI, things like that. A lot of those properties that they had have kind of been on the verge of converting. If they haven't, I think they're trying to do more with that. Which one was I talking about? We were looking at not Micron. I don't think it was Micron. I don't think we have not bought any Micron for the portfolio. MGM, that's flat. Meta's up 20%. McDonald's is 15%. Lowe's is 35%. Altria is at 26%. So Altria actually is outperforming Meta, believe it or not, in our portfolio when we purchased it. So a lot of it's about that entry. Nvidia is up 273%. That one we probably could have bought a lot more times than what we did. I'm sure I threw it out there. We're sitting at $1,495 of Nvidia stock. We're up around $1,100 on it. That means we've bought this thing only twice. Only twice did we buy Nvidia in the past, call it 3 years, right? That is it. So yeah, we've definitely purchased some other stocks more, but I'm happy with the way things are going. I think the fact that we crawled out of a bad deficit from 2022, we're up $6,200. If that was your only investment, I think we did okay, right? I think we're doing pretty solid here. So, and that's kind of the point of this whole podcast, is to get started, do a little bit of research. We're making our own way, our own path. We're trying to figure out what's going to work for us as investors. So whether you're just getting started, whether you've already got it going, got it all together, we're kind of in this thing together, right? I'm not simply trying to tell you guys what to do, but maybe where to look, maybe some different plays that you might not be thinking of. So thank you guys very much for stopping by. Feel free to like, subscribe, and share. That would mean the world to me. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Take care.